Okay, this is our last lesson, and it is on relative frequency. While frequency is the number of times that something occurs, relative frequency tells us the number of times something occurs compared to the total. All right, calculating relative frequency. To find relative frequency, set up a ratio comparing frequency over total. Then convert the ratio to a percentage. Read questions carefully to determine whether the total is referring to the entire table or a specific row or column. All right, number 1. In a survey of 50 people, 23 individuals answered that their favorite ice cream flavor was vanilla. What was the relative frequency of individuals who chose vanilla? Express your answer as a ratio and a percent. Okay, so 23 out of 50 preferred vanilla. So as a ratio, you would write it this way, 23 out of 50. And then in order to write it as a percentage, if you divide that, 23 divided by 50, it's going to come out to 0.46. And then remember, we have to move the decimal to the right 2 places, which is how we get 46%. Okay, number 2. Complete each blank space in the two-way table at the right. Use the two-way table to answer 3 through 6. Express each relative frequency as a ratio and a percent. Round to the nearest whole number when necessary. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is figure out this table. So if we look at just the people that floss regularly, we've got 21 and 11, so we have to add those up to get this total over here. So 21 plus 11 would be 32. And then the people that don't floss regularly, who probably have to go to the dentist a lot, 24 plus 44 would be 68. And if we add straight down, that gives us a total of 100. All right, let's look at the gym membership. The total of people that have a gym membership are 21 and 24. So if we add those, we would get 45. And then no gym membership is 11 and 44, which is 55. If we were to add across there, 45 and 55 adds up to 100. Okay, number 3. Of the people surveyed, what is the relative frequency of people who floss regularly? Okay, so of the people surveyed, there were 100 people surveyed. What is the relative frequency of people who floss regularly? So flossing regularly would be 32 out of 100. So our ratio is going to be 32 out of 100. And then if we divide that in your calculator, you get 0.32. Move the decimal 2 places to the right, and you get 32%. Okay, number 4. Of the people who own a gym membership, what is the relative frequency of people who floss regularly? Okay. So of the people who own a gym membership, so gym membership, 45 people own a gym membership. The relative frequency of people who floss regularly, 21 floss regularly out of 45. So it's 21 over 45. Okay. And then if you take your calculator and you divide it, you're going to do 21 divided by 45. And that ends up coming out to this. And the 6 keeps repeating. Move the decimal to the right 2 places, which gives me 46.66666. Okay. And let's see. In the directions up here, it says round to the nearest whole number when necessary. So if we're going to round to the nearest whole number, we look next door. If that's 5 or higher, we add 1 more. So it's going to be 47%. Okay, number 5, of the people who do not own a gym membership. So no gym membership, that's 55. What is the relative frequency of people who floss regularly? So out of these 55 people, 11 floss regularly. So it's 11 out of 55. Then divide that. 11 divided by 55 comes out to 0.2. Move the decimal to the right. What would that be as a percentage? 20%, because we have to fill in with a 0 there. All right, number 6. Does there seem to be a relationship between people who own a gym membership and people who floss regularly? What do you think? So, the answer would be yes, but it does say to explain. People who own a gym membership seem more likely to floss than people who do not own a gym membership. Okay, and if you go and you look, so out of the people that, here's my gym membership, versus no gym membership, 21 people floss versus the 11. So if we look over here, it's 20% versus the 47%. Okay. In each question below, express relative frequencies as percentages rounded to the nearest whole number. Number 7. Liz wanted to see if there was any association between people who have kids and people who have pets. The two-way table shows her results from a survey. Complete the blank spaces. Okay, so first of all, if we come over here and we look at the kids, we have pets, no pets, and total. So we have to figure out how many are people that have kids and pets right here. This number plus 22 has to equal 63. So we can do 63 take away or subtract 22. That's going to give us 41. And then I kind of see, well, I know those have to add to give me this. So add 41 and 23. It's going to be 64. Okay, and then if we look at this bottom row, we have a total of 125, and then we have 64 for the pets. So if we subtract, we'll get the no pets. Excuse me. All right, so 125 minus 64 is 61. And then we have a total of 61, and then we have this 22, so 61 minus the 22 will give us that missing number, which is 39. All right, and then the last column, 125 minus 63 is 62. And so we can now answer these questions. Okay, number 7, part A. Of the people who were surveyed. Okay, so how many people were surveyed? We look at our total right here, 125. What is the relative frequency of people who have pets? Okay, so people who have pets. So this is just the pets. So that's going to be 64 out of 125. And it's set in the directions to express as percentages rounded to the nearest whole number. So if we divide this, we get, we've got to do 64 divided by 125, and we get 0.512. So if we move the decimal 2 places, that's going to be 51.2% to the nearest whole number. 51.2 is really just going to be 51%. Okay, part B. Of the people who have kids, okay, so of the people who have kids, so now we're looking at this 63 here. These are all the people that have kids. What is the relative frequency of people who have pets? Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, okay. So of these people, what is the relative frequency of people who have pets? So there's 41 out of 63. So 41 divided by 63. Hopefully you're grabbing your calculator and you're figuring this out. And we get this, and it keeps going on and on and on. We move it twice, so we just get 65%. All right, of the people who do not have kids, all right, how many people do not have kids? No kids, that's the 62 over here. So that's our denominator. What is the relative frequency of people who have pets? So that's the 23 out of 62. So divide that. 23 divided by 62, that comes out to 0.3709. We move the decimal to the right 2 places and we get 37%. All right, does there seem to be any association between people who have kids and people who have pets? So does there seem to be some type of association? I think we could say yes. It seems that people with kids are more likely to have pets than people without kids. Okay, number 8. Josh wanted to test the theory that red cars receive more speeding tickets than blue cars. He asked drivers about the color of their vehicle and whether they'd received a speeding ticket. Fill in the blanks in his two-way table. All right, so I think you could probably pause this and try this one on your own. And then start it back up to check your table. Okay, let's check your table. So hopefully you added straight across 41 and 87 and got 128. And then you add straight down 128 and 92 and you get 220. And then 220 minus 70 would be 150. And then still filling in these gaps. There's our missing numbers. Okay, of the people surveyed, okay, 220 people were surveyed. What percent have received a speeding ticket? So the people that have received a speeding ticket, that would be the 128. 128 people have gotten a speeding ticket out of 220. And it says what percent? So we have to divide that. So get your calculator if you didn't already do this one. And we got 128 divided by 220. And that comes out to 0.581. So when I move it over 2 places, I get 58%. Of the people who drive red vehicles. Okay, so if we look at the red vehicle column right here, red vehicles. So there's a total of 70 people that drive red vehicles. What percent have received a speeding ticket? Well, 41 got a speeding ticket out of the 70 people with red vehicles. So 41 divided by 70 is 0.585. So when we move it 2 places over, we have 58.5. So that 5 is going to round this 8 up to 59%. Okay, C, of the people who drive blue vehicles, what percent have received a speeding ticket? Of the people who drive blue vehicles, so blue vehicles, there's 150. What percent got a speeding ticket? 87. So 87 divided by the 150, let's divide that. And we get 0.58, which is 58%. So what can Josh conclude from here? So if they had a red vehicle, 59% of those people got a ticket. If they had a blue vehicle, 58% got one. So do red vehicles seem to get more tickets? I wouldn't say so. Those percentages are awfully close. So Josh can conclude that the color of the car does not influence getting a ticket. And you could have written your answer slightly different, but okay. Number 9, use the results in Josh's two-way table to answer the following questions. What is the frequency of people who have not received a speeding ticket? Okay, so not relative frequency. Relative frequency is when we have to go divide by a total, okay? This just says what is the frequency of people who have not received a speeding ticket. So no speeding ticket, there's 92, so the answer is just 92. What is the relative frequency of people who have not received a speeding ticket? Well, that's 92 out of 220 because of the word relative. We have to divide. So we want to divide 92 by 220, and we get, it ends up coming up to 0.418. So when you move the decimal 2 places to the right, that 8 is going to bump that up to a 42%. Okay, explain in your own words how frequency and relative frequency are different. Frequency gives the number of times something occurred. Our frequency tells us the number of times something occurred. While relative frequency compares the number to the total. All right, very good. I already missed having you guys in class, and I'm looking forward to being back, but that is the lesson that we have to finish up this unit. So if you will also please make sure you go do the homework that goes along with this. That will be good. And then, of course, following that is the review. So that's what we're looking at for this week, is this video with the homework that matches this, and then the review. You should have all of that in your binder. If there's any issues, feel free to email myself or Miss Henry so that we can help make sure you have what you need. And then, of course, make sure you are continuing to log on to Schoology to answer our question for the day and be counted for attendance. We hope to see you guys soon, and have a safe week. Get